The morning sun sliced through the blinds of Emily Harper's cozy Seattle apartment, casting golden streaks across her cluttered desk. A pile of unopened mail teetered precariously, and as the 29-year-old interior designer reached for her coffee, her eyes snagged on an envelope that didn't belong. The creamy paper bore the embossed logo of Willow Creek Manor, the most exclusive wedding venue in the Pacific Northwest. Emily frowned, her fingers hesitating. She hadn't booked any venues, nor had she been invited to one. Curiosity tugged at her, and she slid her finger under the flap, pulling out a crisp contract that gleamed under the light. Her breath caught as she scanned the document. At the bottom, in bold ink, was her name, Emily Harper, signed in a flourish that wasn't hers. The loops were too flamboyant, the slant too sharp. Her coffee mug slipped from her hand, shattering against the hardwood floor, dark liquid pooling around her bare feet. She didn't feel the sting. All she could see was the number, $82, committed to her younger sister Sophia's dream wedding. A wedding Emily had explicitly refused to fund. Her heart pounded, a drumbeat echoing in her throat. She knew that handwriting, Sophia's, with its signature curls and slightly off-center dots. Her 24-year-old sister had forged her name, binding her to a debt she couldn't afford. The room spun, and Emily gripped the edge of the desk, whispering to the empty apartment, "This can't be real." But it was. The contract was real, the betrayal even more so. With trembling hands, she dialed Willow Creek Manor, her voice tight as she spoke. "This is Emily Harper. I'm calling about a contract for Sophia Harper's wedding." The receptionist's cheerful tone sliced through her. "Oh, Ms. Harper, we're thrilled about your sister's big day. Your generosity is the talk of the staff. Such a beautiful gift." The words landed like a slap. Generosity she never offered. A tear escaped, hot against her cheek, as she choked out a "thank you," and hung up. Memories flooded in, unbidden and sharp. At 16, Emily had worked double shifts at the local diner, saving for college, while Sophia lounged by the community pool, her laughter echoing over Instagram. The $2 from Emily's high school graduation fund, borrowed, for Sophia's spring break in Miami, never returned. The countless loans, for clothes, concert tickets, and car repairs that vanished into Sophia's endless desires. "You're the responsible one," their mother, Diane, would say, her voice warm but heavy with expectation. Sophia's still figuring herself out. 2 months ago, at a tense Sunday dinner, Sophia had flashed a dazzling engagement ring, and their father, Richard, had turned to Emily with a familiar look. "With your new promotion, he'd said, swirling his bourbon, you could give Sophia the wedding she deserves." Emily's hands had shaken under the table as she whispered, "I can't afford it. I'm still paying off my student loans." The silence was deafening. Diane's disappointed sigh, Richard's furrowed brow, Sophia's pout. "Family takes care of family," Richard had declared, his voice a gavel. "That's how we raised you." Now, staring at the forged contract, Emily felt the weight of years spent as the family's ATM. Her phone buzzed with an email notification. Senior designer position, Portland office. Her colleague, Rachel, had mentioned the opportunity last week, a job 3 states away, with a 25% salary bump and relocation support. A fresh start. Emily's fingers traced the forged signature, and something ignited within her. A spark of defiance. "No more," she whispered, her voice steady for the first time that morning. That night, sleep was a stranger. At 2 a.m., her laptop cast a cold glow across her face as she scoured old emails. Typing, "wedding," into the search bar. A thread between Diane, Richard, and Sophia appeared, dated 2 months prior, with the subject line, "Emily's contribution." Her stomach twisted as she read Diane's words. "She'll cave. Like always. Remember when she swore she wouldn't cover Sophia's car repairs? A week later, she paid up." Sophia's reply was chilling. "If she doesn't, we'll work around it. Her credit's good for it." Emily's breath hitched. They hadn't just asked for her help, they'd planned to take it. Consent be damned. She opened a new spreadsheet, labeling it, "family debts." With ruthless precision, she documented every unreturned loan, $3,500 for Sophia's Miami trip. $1,200 for their mother's emergency shopping spree. $4 for Richard's failed brewery venture. The total glared back at her. $47,892. And now, an $82 wedding on top of it. Her eyes burned, not from tears but from exhaustion and a simmering rage. A memory surfaced. Christmas 2 years ago. Sophia begging to use Emily's credit card for one small gift for Diane. The January statement revealed $2,800 in charges from high-end boutiques. By 9 a.m., her phone buzzed with a text from Sophia. Just toured the bridal suite at Willow Creek, gorgeous. Thinking we should upgrade the floral package. Only $5 extra. Thoughts? A photo followed. Sophia posing with a champagne flute in a lavish room. Her fiancé nowhere in sight. Emily's fingers hovered over the keyboard. But she didn't respond. 20 minutes later, Diane called. Emily, did you see Sophia's text about the flowers? The venue needs an answer by tomorrow. Emily's voice was steel. I'm not paying for flowers. Mom. Diane's sigh was heavy. Practiced. This isn't like you. Emily, what will people think if Sophia's wedding looks budget? The Wilsons are already raving about your generosity. Emily checked her credit score, down 45 points. A hard inquiry from Willow Creek Manor and a new line of credit in her name confirmed her worst fears. They were actively using her credit. Her phone rang again. Rachel's voice was warm but urgent. Hey, thought about that Portland job? The hiring manager called again. They're obsessed with your portfolio. Emily sat up straighter. I didn't know they were that serious. Rachel laughed. Dead serious. It's a 25% raise. Plus relocation. And honestly, it'd get you away from that family drama you've mentioned. Hope flickered. Fragile but real. She called her best friend. Michael, the only person who knew the full extent of her family's financial demands. They forged my signature, Mike, for $82. Silence stretched. Then his voice. Firm. That's not okay. That's theft. It's a crime. The question slipped out before she could stop it. What if I just left? Michael didn't hesitate. It might be your only way out. They'll bleed you dry otherwise. Emily's mind raced. She updated her resume. Scheduled a Portland interview for Monday during lunch. While her family thought she was reviewing fabric swatches, she was plotting her escape. The contract sat on her desk. A symbol of betrayal, but also of possibility. She imagined a life where her paycheck was hers. Where her credit cards weren't a family resource. Where Sunday dinners didn't end with her bank account lighter. The Seattle rain had stopped, leaving a rare, crisp clarity in the air as Emily Harper stood in her nearly empty apartment. The last of her boxes labeled and stacked by the door. It was moving day, and the weight of her decision pressed against her chest, not with fear, but with a fierce, unfamiliar resolve. At 29, she was done being the family's ATM. Done letting her sister Sophia, her parents Diane and Richard, and their relentless expectations drain her dry. The forged contract for Sophia's $82 wedding at Willow Creek Manor was the final straw. A betrayal that had cracked open the truth. Her family didn't see her as a daughter or sister, but as a resource to exploit. Today, Emily was leaving it all behind for a new life in Portland, Oregon, 3 states and a world away. 2 weeks ago, she'd sat in her car during a lunch break. Her laptop balanced on her knees, heart hammering as she faced Gregory Thompson, creative director at Portland Design Collective. Via Zoom. Your portfolio is remarkable, he'd said, his eyes scanning her work off-screen. It's restrained, intentional, spaces people actually want to live in. Emily had smiled, her voice steady despite the stakes. Thank you. I believe in creating environments that feel like home, not just showpieces. When he asked about salary, she didn't flinch. Based on my experience and the Portland market, I'm looking for $85 annually, plus benefits. Gregory's eyebrows lifted, not in offense but in respect. That's exactly our range, he said, and when he cracked a joke about Portland's coffee culture rivaling Seattle's, Emily's laugh was genuine, startling her with its lightness. We'll be in touch soon, he promised. That call had come 3 days ago. The job was hers. With a start date in 2 weeks. Now, as the movers hauled her vintage desk, a piece she'd refinished herself, down the stairs, Emily's phone buzzed incessantly. 7 missed calls from Sophia in the last 10 minutes. A text from Diane. Emily. Where are you? The venue needs lighting decisions by 3 p.m. Another from Sophia. If you ruin my wedding, I'll never forgive you. Emily silenced her phone, her hands steady as she slipped it into her pocket. She'd spent the past week gathering evidence. Photos of the forged contract. Text messages where she'd refused to pay. Bank statements showing unauthorized charges. Even a voicemail from Sophia to her maid of honor, casually admitting, I signed Emily's name to move things along. Every piece was meticulously organized in a folder, now tucked into her messenger bag, ready to be sent to Willow Creek Manor. She'd contacted the venue that morning, her voice calm but firm. This is Emily Harper. The signature on Sophia Harper's wedding contract isn't mine. I'm sending evidence of the forgery, including a handwriting analysis. The manager's tone shifted from polite to tense. This is highly unusual, Ms. Harper. We'll need to speak with your sister and parents immediately. Emily had nodded, though no one could see her. I've also notified my lawyer and the credit bureaus. The contract was signed without my consent. Hanging up felt like shedding a weight she'd carried for years. The movers worked with precision, wrapping her furniture as Emily dialed her landlord. Mr. Peterson, I've documented the identity theft, she said, sliding the evidence folder across her kitchen counter. Under tenant protection laws, the lease break fee should be waived. Peterson, a gruff but fair man, reviewed her files and sighed. Wouldn't want this happening to my kid. I'll have the paperwork ready tomorrow. A small victory warmed her chest as she hung up, watching the movers load her bookshelf, filled with design books that had fueled her dreams since college. Her phone vibrated again. Diane's 5th call in 30 minutes. The voicemail was a mix of anger and panic. Emily Harper. Where are you? The venue needs answers, and you're making us look like fools. 3 more followed, each more desperate. Sophia's texts escalated. Answer your damn phone. After everything we've done for you, this is how you repay us? Then Richard's voice, booming through a voicemail. Family takes care of family. Emily, you have responsibilities. Don't make me come find you. Emily saved each message, each a link in the chain of evidence she'd built. She wasn't running blindly, she was leaving with purpose. With proof. By noon, the moving truck rumbled away, carrying her life to Portland. Emily had timed it perfectly. Diane, Richard, and Sophia were at a cake tasting across town. Oblivious to her departure, she locked the apartment door, leaving behind a single item, a cracked coffee mug, glued back together, the one that had shattered the morning she discovered the forgery. A note beside it read, "Some things, once broken, can never be the same." In Portland, Emily's new apartment was modest but hers, a 1-bedroom with a small balcony overlooking a quiet street. The first night, she stood on that balcony, the Oregon air cool against her skin, and felt something she hadn't in years, freedom. Her phone had stopped buzzing, but not before a flurry of texts from relatives, recruited as Diane's reinforcements. Aunt Linda, your mother's hysterical. Emily, what's going on with the wedding? Cousin Mark, the venue just called Dad demanding payment. They're canceling. What did you do? Emily didn't respond. Instead, she emailed her extended family a dignified, factual letter, attaching the forged contract, text messages, and bank statements. I'm stepping away to protect myself, she wrote. This is not about anger, it's about truth. The fallout was swift. Willow Creek Manor canceled the contract when Sophia and her parents couldn't produce the $22 installment due that week. Family group chats buzzed with chaos. Guests received postponement notices. Sophia canceled the exotic floral arrangements. And Richard was spotted meeting with loan officers. Sophia's fiancé's parents, alarmed by the forged contract, demanded a prenup. Emily heard it all through Michael, who still lived in Seattle. It's a mess, he said over the phone, his voice tinged with pride. You did the right thing. 3 months later, Emily stood in her Portland apartment, arranging her design books on reclaimed wood shelves. The morning light caught the spines, each book a testament to her journey. Her new job at Portland Design Collective was everything she'd hoped, challenging, rewarding, and hers. On a Friday afternoon, her colleague Marcus leaned against her desk. We need those concept boards by Monday. I know it's your weekend. But, he trailed off, expecting her to jump. Emily smiled, her voice calm. I have plans this weekend. But I'll come in early Monday to finalize everything. Marcus blinked, surprised but impressed. Fair enough. Walking along Portland's Pearl District that evening, Emily marveled at how easily she'd set that boundary. Her therapist, Dr. Carter, called it progress. The first no is the hardest, he'd said during their first session. Each one after builds strength. Her journal entries told the story. Week 1 in Portland. Panicked about money. Week 8. Explored the city without checking my phone once. Her laughter at lunch with new colleagues felt foreign at first. But it grew familiar, filling spaces once occupied by tension. Her housewarming party was small but vibrant. Rachel flew in, bringing a potted monstera that now thrived by her window. Michael sent a care package with a note. Proud doesn't cover it. Over wine, Rachel raised a glass. To chosen family and new beginnings. Emily's eyes stung, not with pain but with gratitude. She wasn't alone. Her real family was the one showing up now. When a junior designer, Lily, confided about a client demanding unpaid revisions, Emily saw her old self in the younger woman's hesitation. Your work has value, she said, sharing her strength without bearing her scars. So do you. Helping Lily felt like closing a circle, reclaiming the power her family had stolen. An email arrived one morning with photos of Sophia's downsized wedding, a community center. 4 bridesmaids instead of 8. No ice sculptures or fireworks. Emily felt no vindication, only detachment. She sent a simple congratulations card and moved on. A letter from Diane arrived soon after. The first hint of remorse in years. We never meant it to go this far. Emily didn't reply. She didn't need to. The guilt that once consumed her was gone, replaced by a quiet acceptance. At sunset, Emily stood at the Willamette River waterfront, the letter from Diane in her hands. The water stretched before her, endless and full of possibilities. Some bridges burn for a reason, she whispered, watching the sun dip below the horizon. Forgiveness? She wasn't sure if it was necessary, or if walking away was the greatest gift she could give herself. For the first time, she had the space to decide, on her terms. In her own time.